What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy, and we gotta stop meeting this way. And what do I mean by that? Every vehicle that I've purchased and owned has broken down on me at some sort of way or form. And you know what? This twin turbo 2017 Audi R8 V10 is no different, because now I am sitting in front of a monument, man, or a museum piece, I guess you can say, until we get this car fixed. Is it my fault? Is it the car's fault? Is it the previous owner's fault? We don't know, but all I do know is I am going to be $40,000 to $50,000 deep into getting this bad boy back on the road. So without further ado, guys, let's get this video going. As depressing as it is, let's talk about what happened, what went wrong, what are we going to do to fix it, and what's going on with this car. Because if you haven't seen the last video, there's just issues popping up left and right. So quite honestly, this video is going to suck to make, but I'm honest with you guys and transparent, so let's talk about it. Alright guys, so if you're new to the channel, welcome, because you picked a really great video to join us, because this right here is going to be the most expensive repair I have ever had to do on a breakdown that I don't even think was my fault. But what am I talking about, guys? So 2 videos ago, I introduced you all to my 2017 Audi R8 V10 Plus with the Sheepey twin turbo kit on it. This thing is so much fun to drive. Or was, but something really catastrophic happened and went wrong that we just got to talk about. I have talked to a few shops. We do have a game plan as to what we're going to do. Quite honestly, guys, I am so new to this whole platform. I don't know what to expect or what to think or what could have went wrong. I've had GTRs which were stupid expensive to fix and work on. Quite honestly, you were paying the GTR taxes, and now you're paying the Lamborghini / Audi R8 taxes. So I don't think it gets any more expensive than working on this platform. So let's talk about what went wrong, guys. So a few videos ago, I talked about all the issues that this car came with from the previous owner. Now, if you haven't noticed or didn't know, I did trade my 2018 F-150, 1,000 horsepower truck, drag race truck, for this bad boy here, with, of course, money on top. So the guy reached out to me and said, hey man, let's make this deal happen. And of course, this being one of my dream vehicles that I've always wanted to own, it was a no-brainer, man. The deal was so good, the price was so spot on, and he paid asking price for my truck. So I was like, man, I'll be dumb to say no. So when the car got here, I'll be completely honest, it came with so many issues. Some were minor, some were major, like the AC compressor doesn't work. So obviously summer, and I'm driving with no AC, which is embarrassing on a $150,000, $170,000 car. So we got to drop the motor to do all that. But besides that, the powertrain was good. I did have some issues, or somebody told me it might have had compression issues. It doesn't. The V10, we checked all 10 cylinders, 160 PSI or compression rate on all of them. So we're good there. I'm not worried about it. The car drove fine. Now, there was one hiccup first week of ownership. Let's take a quick look at this car, guys. That way you kind of know what I'm talking about and why I fell in love with this thing. As you can tell, hopefully, maybe you can kind of see there is some turbos. They are paint match red to match the intakes, of course. Beautiful car. I love the center exit exhaust. This thing is wicked. It sounds amazing. It does have really nice wheels as well, and being the V10 Plus package, you do have the really nice carbon spoiler and side blades, and you got carbon brakes. And interior wise, you have this beautiful red interior, which I really wanted and fell in love with. Yep, she's already screaming because technically this car is not in park right now. So, and I love the little Sheepey badging there, but the car overall is a beautiful ride. It gets so many looks, and I quite honestly wanted to get an R8 over a Huracan because you can park this anywhere. You're not going to get as much attention. People aren't going to be, you know, laying on the car taking photos, which is totally fine with me. So when I first got the car, a week into my ownership, I was giving a buddy a ride, and the car did something weird. So I know from just having conversations, from watching videos, that the first and second gear in these cars are brittle, right? Unless you build this thing to be a drag vehicle just like on GTRs, you're gonna have problems. That's why I'm not even planning to make this a drag race car. It's gonna be a roll race car. So knowing that the first and second gear are kind of weak, I was giving my buddy a ride. So we did a pull. We started in second, and when it went to third, it launched into third, and then it threw the car into neutral, which was super weird. It was the loudest bang I've ever heard come out of a drivetrain or the transmission. I was like, oh my god, a week in and I just exploded the grenade of the transmission. We pulled over, we coasted to a parking lot, we got out of the car, looked under, nothing was leaking, turned the car off, started back up, nothing. Runs perfectly fine for the next 3 weeks. So let's fast forward to yesterday. One of my buddies was working in one of these warehouses, and I pulled up. I was like, hey man, you wanted a ride? Let me give you a ride real quick, man, before I park this thing for a week. So we'll get in the car. We'll get about 100 feet down the road. Now, knowing first and second gear is brittle, I waited till the car in auto mode shifted to third gear, then I flat-footed it. Well, when I flat-footed it, it downshifted just like any car would to get more power to second gear. I was like, oh crap, maybe I should let off. But being as dumb as I am and just in the moment, I continued to stay on the throttle. And when I did that, they went from second gear and it was full boost all the way until it shifted into third. When it shifted into third, that's when it made the same sound that I remember hearing 3 weeks ago, and that sound was the worst thing I ever heard. But this time it didn't show anything on the dashboard. It didn't show what gear I'm in. It just lit up like a Christmas tree, and I coasted to the closest gas station, which is about 100 feet further from this driveway, and luckily I was able to pull over. We parked it. I figured it's gonna be the same thing. I'll turn the car off, I'll start it back up, and we'll be good to go. But something felt different, and that different was I couldn't put the car into park. And because I couldn't put it into park, I couldn't start the car because it's just not letting me put it into it. Then it threw up all these codes, which watch the video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Go into gear, guys. No matter what you do, we are toast, boys. Welcome to the V10 gang. Here comes a new trans and a new clutch. Yeah. So now you got an all-wheel drive malfunction, you have a parking brake malfunction, and you have a speed control, variable control sensor malfunction as well. Now, as somebody that brakes cars on a regular, when I seen the speed control, I knew that's usually something like a sensor that sits on the transmission to tell it what gear it's in or how fast the revolutions are, to be able to tell or kind of analyze and calculate the speed of the vehicle and how fast it's going. So I knew that right there was not a good sign. Parking brake malfunction threw me off because I was like, hey, what does that have to do with anything with the parking brake? I mean, the car is fine. All-wheel drive malfunction, maybe it skipped traction control, maybe it blew the diff. I don't know. But I'm sitting there and I cannot figure out what's going on with the car. And I finally call Alex at Sheepey, and I was like, hey bro, the car might be screwed. And he's like, well, what happened? I was like, I was doing the pull, this is what came up. And I was like, yeah man, you blew the transmission minimum, most likely clutches as well. Being that this car has 50,000 miles, it obviously needs a refresh, but at this point you're going to be further in than just a refresh. So I'm sitting there, don't know what to do. We finally got to roll back. My buddy dragged it here, and here we are, guys. We are literally stuck with this car. What's weird about it is the car is stuck in gear. I don't know what gear it is. I don't know what's going on in transmission. Luckily, we didn't have to drag it up a rollback. We'll put it on the snatch truck, so it hasn't moved more than maybe a foot in the whole distance since it broke down. So hopefully the gears haven't rotated enough to really put the metal shavings or whatever's going on in there and damage the transmission more. So God, man, I am talking so much, but I'm trying not to look at the car because it's so painful. I haven't put more than maybe 400 or 500 miles since I've owned it, and now we're gonna be stuck for a little while. Now, knowing all these weakest links that we're starting to figure out and find, we're gonna go ahead and build this thing to 1300 horsepower. We have a shop in mind already, which I'll probably introduce very soon. The cool thing about them is they are letting us, me and my buddy Brandon, drop the transmission. We're gonna drop the engine, might as well, since we're doing the compressor. We're gonna ship out the transmission. We'll probably meet them there, honestly, or bring it to them, and we're gonna see what's going on with it and see when they take it apart what they find inside. But let me show you what's going on with the car right now. I have the key here. I'm sorry, babe, I didn't mean to do this. It's not like I broke you on purpose. But sitting here, I gotta say, this is one of the sexiest cars that you can just have parked. Honestly, you can sit here and just enjoy it, because that's what I do now, and I'll probably do it for the next month or two while we fix the car. But when you get in, here's what you're gonna see, guys. Like I said, technically the car in a way is still on, because while it's not in park, it's not in any gear. Parking brake is on, obviously, which is good so it doesn't roll. Here's what you see, right? And then if we try to start it, or even just turn it on, this is what you're seeing. Parking brake malfunction, shift the P before leaving car, otherwise vehicle can roll away. Fantastic. So we got speed control system currently unavailable, and the check engine light is on. Now here's another problem. All-wheel drive malfunction. You may continue driving, which is why I thought maybe we're not as deep into this as possible. That doesn't matter. And then, well, wait for the other one to pop up. All right, guys, so here's something else that I was talking to you about that I want to show you. So I plugged in my code reader. Now I'm going to turn the car on real quick. So you can see everything pops on there. And watch what it says. So this being a stage 1 kit, turbo kit, there's no really reason. It's got a DS1 tuner on it, I'm guessing, or tune. So somebody tuned it, but there's no reason why we are unable to communicate with. No communication with transmission control module. No communication with transmission control module. So for some reason, it doesn't even communicate with the computers when it comes to the transmission or the engine, if I remember correctly. Let's go back to system status, global OBD2. God, that is so annoying. I'm sorry, guys. I can't put in park, or else I would. But it's weird. No communication with transmission control module again. And if you can tell, the ECU won't read codes either, which is the weirdest thing, because we actually had it plugged in into a Audi OEM code reader. Like, this is the computer that Audi uses to read codes, and we are able to see ECU codes, but we can't open it or read it because it's kind of like locked, which makes no sense, because on the stage 1 car there's no reason to hide anything. It's not like you're hiding a tuning file. It's not a miracle, or it's not worth $1 million. But for some reason this ECU is locked, and now this transmission control thing, I've never seen that code before. I wonder what it means, but unfortunately, I don't even know where to start, and I'm not about to start taking stuff apart to figure out what is going on. Now, let me just turn this thing off real quick. Oh, God, she's so angry at me, and there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Oh, that is the worst feeling, because it's not fixing a, you know, little Chevy truck or something. This is working on a really expensive, really expensive vehicle. So long story short, guys, we are going to be taking the transmission out. We are going to be shipping it out, and hopefully opening it there at the shop and taking a look at the inside. I would love to learn about these transmissions. We're going to be installing the new clutches. We're going to be doing all that and doing the fuel system. So there's a lot of videos upcoming, but once we're done, I'm aiming for the top spot in my city. So that's a big thing to ask for, and it's going to take a lot of money, but you know what? We need to get the car back on the road. That's just a long story short. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your lives. Enjoy your cars. If they break, they break. That's the whole point. Why pay big money if you're not going to have fun with it?